Morning traders, welcome to another session of Market Snapshot. I hope everyone is geared up for the opportunities. New week, new opportunities, but then again, do you know what you're looking for? Do you have the skill? Do you have the knowledge, right? And so that's why we have this Market Snapshot to ensure that you guys have the right skills and even the knowledge, right, to get to know what will be playing out. So ideally, when it comes to trading, you need to look at three key aspects: the fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and sentimental analysis. So fundamentals, you're looking at economic events that could affect your positions. That could also be political events. Right now, we've seen a whole lot of conversation courtesy of Trump. Some of you, for us, some of us, it's Trump 2.0. We had a taste of him in 2016 till 2020. So we expected this volatility to come in, but most of the new guys didn't expect this. So Trump is a guy who will be doing this on his Truth social media platform, and things will be moving. If you look at the impact on something like oil, right? You know, where Trump is saying that US will be coming in to help them, all that has led to had some impact on oil. Remember, Iran is an oil producing country, so of course, when you have such conversations, you're looking at the military angle to it. And if a military is striking Iran, it will definitely hit the oil infrastructure, right? And that affects the oil supply, and that basically hits the revenue of the Iranian government, leads to low supply of oil in the world market, and prices of oil could go. So basically, that's an example of the fundamental analysis. And then is sentimental analysis. This is where you're looking at sentiments. What are traders saying? What are guys saying in terms of gold? We have more buyers than sellers, right? Then we have now the technical analysis, where you look at your charts. You look at your MT5, you look at your trading VC Trader, Ninja Trader, whatever trading platform it is that you're using to trade, right? So let's first look at the fundamentals, because they are the ones that will move this market, right? And today being on a Wednesday, we are interested in the red folders, right? These are the high impact news. So at 4:30, we'll be having the core PPI month on month, core retail sales month on month, PPI month on month, retail sales month on month. However, this data is, if we go to my FX book, this is another economic calendar, you will see this data is from November, right? So majority of the data that will be coming in, the PPI, all this is data from November, yeah, and a bit of October, month on month. Yeah, so this is data that is already passed. So I really don't expect this to affect the market, really, because we are way past this, right? So the data that is of interest is even the existing home sales. So what is this basically? Let's go to, if you look at the economic calendar, Forex Factory, existing home sales is not a high impact news according to them. But if you go to my FX book, it's high impact. So that tells you, there's that difference that you really need to take note of, right? But then again, let's first analyze, let's have a look at the PPI, core PPI. So basically, the core PPI measures what? You just need to open this folder. It's the change in price of finished goods and services, excluding food and energy. Remember, food and energy are volatile. They could be affected by so many things like weather, wars, energy. Look at oil, where some war somewhere could lead to some volatility. And that is not something you had planned out, right? So that's why most traders will be looking at the PPI more than the core PPI, right? And so the data is simple. Forecast traders are expecting it to be 0.2%. Anything higher than this will lead to the strengthening of the dollar, right? And anything lower than that will lead to the weakening of the dollar. Then we have core retail sales. basically change in total value of sales at the retail level, excluding automobiles, right? So basically, this one helps in gauging consumer spending. Remember, for any economy to grow, there's need to be consumption. This is where, like in an example in Kenya, where guys are complaining there's no cash flow, right? There's no money that is circulating in the economy. That affects the spending capability. If you are an investor, then you really don't want to invest in a country where guys are not spending, right? Because I mean, how will you make money? So it's a primary gauge of consumer spending, which accounts for the overall which accounts for the majority of overall economic activities. So traders expect this to be 0.4%. Any number higher than this is good for the dollar. Any number lower than this, it's not so good for the dollar. And of course, we have the PPI as mentioned. This one, it's a gauge of consumer spending, basically the total value of sales at the retail level, right? Total value. Remember, the other one is the prices, right? This one is total value. So any number higher than 0.5%, good for the dollar. Any number lower than 0.5%, then that becomes a problem. You know, there's the weakness of the dollar. Then yeah, that's all we have. Retail sales month on month. I think, yeah, that's it. Yeah, so that's the interpretation we'll be looking at with regards to this high impact news. But then again, like we've seen from my FX book, this is data from November that has been announced. Remember the shutdown that had happened, right? There was some delay in releasing some of these key data. So there's that backlog that has been cleared. So with that, let's go to our technicals. Let's look at the opportunities that the market have presented with that background. So I'll be sharing my MT5. If you have any question, please kindly engage me through the chat section. I'll be looking at them towards the end. So we could start off with GBPUSD. We did some analysis earlier. This was on Monday with the mentorship class, the one that takes place from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. As we speak, there's a class that is ongoing. So we were looking for sell opportunities on GBPUSD. So GBPUSD the next day, which was yesterday, it came and tested something called yesterday's high. Right? If I look at, was this order block tested? Let me see whether this was tested. Yeah, actually you can see this is an order block. It's called a bearish order block. The last bullish candle before a move down, right? That led to break of structure. So GBPUSD actually tested the order block, right? And then there was that downward move. I still anticipate the bearish move to play out. Let's now do this again. So the best way to trade is to look at higher time frames, have a clear understanding of where the market is going. So I'm just going to work with H4. This is an area of interest for me on that moving average. Alternatively, GBPUSD can spike to this candle over here, 3470. Those are key areas on GBPUSD. Yeah, so those are areas on GBPUSD that I would expect the moment we get there, we could now encounter some bearish moves. So my analysis will be if price gets here, then I'll be looking at that 72 pips move to that moving average. So those who've attended our classes, the beginners class, today we'll be having a beginners class, and I'll get to show you how this strategy works, where you just leverage on the moving averages as entry and even exit area. So one of our exit here on the 800 DMA will be a good one, because we can see that played out sometime last week. Actually, it was on Monday, right? On Monday, price came to the 800, and then there was that bullish move. So I would expect GBPUSD to test that area once again, or that. So we have two key areas. So for you to enter this trade, once again, you need to have confirmations. You don't enter blindly. So I would want to see a move, maybe this bullish move or that move, but then using the RSI, if price hits the 70 region, then I'll now look for that sell trade. Right? Look at the last time GBPUSD hit the 70 region. It was here. There was that test yesterday, and then there was that bearish move. So I'll still want to see such a similar pattern play out. That's GBPUSD. Let's have a look at UT100. This was from last week. I remember analyzing these last week, and we were looking for a bullish move on UT100 to either this area, and I can see we had mapped out the daily. We'll get back to that and see what was on the daily, because once price hit the daily chart, there was that bearish move that played out, right? See that move. But then we had also targeted another area up here. I really didn't test that area, but then we can see that bearish move. So let's map out UT100 on the daily. So the focus was this one. There was this order block. Yeah, that one. Was it tested? Not yet. So I'll still want to see how UT100 will react once it tests this order block. So ideally, what we can see is UT100 tested last month's high, the high of December. And we can see the close of candles, right? We can see the wicks playing out, telling you that there are some sellers there. So go back to, let's see, H4. On H4, there is that move. So probably I'll be looking at a bullish move on UT100. So this is what I would anticipate. If UT100 was to test this area, right, and then maybe we could have some bulls all the way to that high. So that will be my outlook on UT100. By the way, I can see another block here, a bullish order block. That could also be tested. So those are the two areas where we could encounter some buyers on UT100. Let's have a look at USD CHF. Well, this is a trade we were looking at on Monday. Remember, we have those free classes, the mentorship class. So in our mentorship class, we were looking at a bearish move on USD CHF and then a bullish move when price hits this area. So if we go to H1, let me show you why we were looking at that bullish move. You see this one over here? There's another block here, all right? This is a bullish order block, the last bearish candle before a move up that broke this structure. So this is an area where I had anticipated that USD CHF will encounter some strong buyers. By then, there was a moving average. There was this moving average that was acting as a possible also support. So we had two key support areas, the order block and the moving average. And so it was quite a strong case for that bullish move. And we can see that has played out. It's going to that target, which is the high of the week, the high that was set up on Monday. Right. So let's now analyze USD CHF afresh because it's coming to that high. What will happen after that? So let's remove these. Go to higher time frames. We can see that there's a potential bullish move. So on my left on H4, I can see another block, this one, that is yet to be tested. This candle over here, this is a bearish order block. The last bullish candle before a move down that broke this structure, right? So this is an area where we could encounter some very strong resistance. There's also some resistance on the moving average, because look at the past. We say technical analysis is looking at your left so that you can trade your right. So we can see November, the 800 acting as resistance. We can see the same, I think, first few weeks of November. Then towards the end of November, 800 acted as resistance. So that would also happen here. So I'm looking at a bullish move to that 800. If it breaches, then we could get to that area, and then from there we could encounter some sellers. Then there's also the high of December, 80.84. So in terms of how strong an area will be, the high of November, so yes, the high of December will be a very strong area with sellers, this one here. So there's a high likelihood the moment we get here, we could encounter some sells. That's USD CHF. Let's have a look at gold. Gold has hit an all-time high. Once again, what's happening? Geopolitics, right? Iran on the cards and the uncertainty therein. We've seen what's happening in Japan. There lacks some kind of leadership to navigate what is going on in Japan with the prices going up, inflation. And so with all that uncertainty, the world is going into gold, right? Most of the investors are rushing into gold. And the moment there's an increase in demand for something, the prices of that something goes up. So that is what has led to the bullish move on gold. So let's analyze gold. So we can see a bit of Monday's high holding. You can see that one. The moving averages, look at that. Sorry, not the moving averages. Look at the weeks, right? So yesterday when price came to Monday's high, there was that week closed below, and then there was a drop to the moving average. So we can see that, and now we can see what's really playing out. I'm still bullish on gold. Reason being the uncertainty, right? So the only thing that a trader looks out for is the best opportunity. Where do you enter a buy in this case? So probably that's an area of interest, or maybe that one. The Asian low, the low of today's, the lowest price today during Asian session. So that's a possible area where if price gets to, then we could see a continuation of the bullish move. Let's have a look at which other pair, Euro USD. And then USD JPY and ZDD USD, and call it a day. So let's have a look at Euro USD. So go to higher time frames. This is the low of December. This area right here is a high probability take profit on Euro USD. So we are looking for short opportunities, right? But then before that short opportunity, then we could see some bullish move. Let's see whether this area has been tested. Okay, so this order block is yet to be tested. So I'll anticipate a bullish move on Euro USD to that high. And then maybe from there we could encounter some sellers, either 1654 or 1661. Those are the two key areas where I'll probably want to see Euro USD go to. Then once we hit those areas, I'll be looking at short opportunities. I'll be looking at sell opportunities to this area. There's also the moving average that could act as support, the 800. Remember, if you look at the 800, when used in the right context, it's quite powerful, right? Could act as your take profit. So we have the 800 as an exit area, or last month's low, the low of December. Was it the, no, not the low of December. What are we seeing as? Yeah, it's actually the low of December. This one actually needs to be dropped. Yeah, 1587, 1584, sorry, 1594, 1587, a difference of 7 pips. Personally, I would rather work with 1594 on the moving average. That's a possible move. So a bullish move and then a possible bearish move on Euro USD will give me a reason to enter that trade. Then we have USD JPY. Let's see from higher time frames. The yen has been weakening big time. So you can see a test of last year's high, right? This last year's high was tested. This one. And what was the reaction? There was some initial sellers, but then the yen has been quite weak. So let's go back to the daily. What else would you want to see? Maybe price testing this area. Yeah. So that's also an area with some 159.70. That's an area of interest on USD JPY. In the meantime, let's see how USD JPY reacts to this moving average. What happens when it gets there will be key. From there, we could see a continuation of the bullish move to this high, 159.70, which is almost 100 pips from 158.69. So probably we could see that move play out. Then we have NZD USD. What are we looking at? Go to higher time frames. Last week's low is of interest. That right there is an area of interest. There's also an order block here. It is of interest. This right here is a bullish order block, the last bearish candle before move up. So we could see 56 56.76 being tested. Yeah, those are the key areas where I would want to see NZD/USD come to. In the meantime, we could see some bullish move to that moving average. And then from there, we could encounter maybe now the sellers coming in strongly. You see. Yeah, 57.76. I'm looking at this order block on M15. Yeah, so probably a bullish move. Could see a bullish move. And then from there, we could see a 50 pips move. On H4, we could see an 83 pips move on USD/CHF2, this order block right here. And then from there, we could encounter some strong buyers pushing the market up. So let's see how that pair reacts to those areas. Let me have a look at some of your questions as we wrap up. Hey, morning Simon, morning Maureen, Lucy, happy new year too. Good morning, kindly analyze Audi. Okay, I've done NZD/USD. I will be looking at Audi. Done. Maureen already done GBPUSD, USD, JPY. Morning, Sammy. Euro USD done. Right. Would you propose this live to be separate from their class time? How would one propose this live to be separated from that class time? Sammy, awesome. Actually, just send an email to support@fxpesa.com, and you can also CC me, robert.mbogo@fxpesa.com. Right? Euro Audi USD. What did you consider Poples umesema gold at a reverse to bullish? Let's go back to that gold. This one over here, right? We had two areas. This is another block, right? One of the areas. And then we've also looked at the low. It's called the Asian low. Yeah, the Asian low, the lowest price during the Asian session. It's an area with buyers. Let me show you something. If you look at gold, like yesterday, right? So the Asian low is the lowest price from midnight till 9 a.m., right? So let's look at the 9 a.m. candle, which is the 9 a.m. candle. This one, right? So the lowest price was this, was here. So this area, 45.73, right, will be considered to be a buy area, a strong support. So there's a high chance if there are some sellers who will be coming here, they will be rejected. So let's see. Buy. Look at that. Okay. So you've seen this sell candle. Okay. You do not know what will happen after that. But then what you know is that it has come to test the Asian low. And if you see that candle, it has closed in a week. What does that tell you? That there are buyers there. So what happened after that? There you go. Buy. So that's the same analogy I would want to see on gold. If it comes to test this area, this Asian low, there's a possibility there'll be some buyers here, and that could lead to a bullish move. For more on this, kindly join our class. We have a class, just go to learn how to trade. We have two main sessions. We have the morning session, which is the mentorship session. You must be an experienced trader for you to join that class, right? Basically, we don't go through the basics, but for you to, if you're a beginner and you're struggling with some foundations, right, just make sure that you attend the evening class. Like tonight in the evening, I'll be having uh, a strategy session, right? We started on Monday yesterday, and then today it's strategy day. So if you're struggling, you don't have a strategy, like for example what you're seeing with the moving averages here, that's a strategy I'll be training later from 8 to 9 p.m. So don't miss out on that session if you're interested in maybe learning a strategy. Yeah, so that's I was answering. Who was asking that question? Rosa. I hope I've answered. Analyze silver, gold, done, silver. Okay, so let's do NZD USD, Euro Audi USD. So let's go to Audi USD. What else should we analyze? Euro Audi. I don't know whether I have it, but let's add it. And then silver, XAG USD. I think I have it. I have silver here. So let's actually start with silver. Okay. Some reason what's happening. Okay. Let's go to Audi USD. We'll get back to silver. So this is Audi USD. Go to higher time frames. Have a clear understanding of what's really playing out. We have the monthly low as an area of interest. That one, 30 pips away. And then we also have this moving average. Actually, it's lining up with another block here. So those are the areas I would anticipate as take profit areas on Audi USD. So let's go to H4. I'd probably want to see Audi USD test this order block. Then go to H1. So take profit one could be yesterday's low. Yeah, so probably I would want to see Audi USD test that area and then look for sales. 33 pips, another one will be 44 pips. I can see a moving average here. So yeah, 50 pips a day pays the bills, right? Why is silver more volatile than gold recently? Is it really? Gold has always been silver, only that silver has outperformed gold. They are all safe haven pairs, right? What does that mean? In times of turmoil, investors will always rush to silver gold, right? To as a way of storing their wealth, you know. Yeah. But gold still remains king in terms of volatility. Okay, let's have a look at Euro Audi. So I need to go to higher time frames to have a clear understanding of where we are. So I'm looking at that moving average as a possible resistance. 74.99, is it way up? I have no idea. There are some pairs I don't. What about that? This is a possible order block. What about H4? Okay, so let's see whether this order block has been tested. Yes, it has. Okay. Yesterday's high. So Euro Audi is screaming buy. Could come to that area. Or even test yesterday's high and then sell. Yeah, something of the sort. Maybe that. Let's look at silver. Silver, just like gold, I anticipate it to continue going up due to the geopolitics. So maybe hit what? Has it? I'm sure it hit. I think it hit 91. Yeah, so maybe 91.50. Actually, it was hit. Huh? So maybe the next target will be 91.75 or 92. USD JPY done. Just go through the video and you will see what we've said about it. Otherwise, thank you guys for your time. Once again, if you want to attend our classes, just go below this video. There's learn how to trade. Go to that link. If you're in Tanzania, we have Tanzania classes. If you're in Uganda, kidogo mzee amenyonga hiyo kitu, but hey, we'll be back I think next week, right? So if you're interested in joining us also the mentorship class, the 11 to 12 p.m., just go to that morning session and register. I'll see you then. Bye bye.